and all civilian production stopped.
But during the Depression years, did America still buy handguns?
Oh yeah, yeah. In fact, the most expensive handgun that Smith & Wesson ever made came out of the peak, of the Depression in 1935. And it's probably one of the most famous of all the guns. And it's also the gun that put Smith & Wesson in the Magnum era. It's the registered, it's the 357 Magnum, designed by Doug Wesson.
And that came out right in the middle of the Depression?
Came out in 1935, May of 35.
I never connected that before.
The first one was given to J. Edgar Hoover.
Oh.
The gun was essentially a custom-built revolver.
Mm.
You could get it in any barrel length from 3.5 inches to 8 3/4 inches. If you wanted it in 4 3/4 or 3 3/4 or 6 3/4 or 6 7/8, they'd make it for you. To get the gun, you filled out an order. You specified what barrel length you wanted, what sight you wanted. They offered you any sight that they manufactured. You could get it with a King peep sight. You could get it with a gold bead. You could get it with a Partridge sight. You could get it with a red insert. Any sight that
so
was
this
available.
was kind of going back to the day that you could customize a lot of the guns for the shooter.
It was an absolute custom gun. It's an absolutely hand-built. It took about 6 weeks to get one done. You had to order it, especially you had to fill out the order form. A lot of correspondence that goes with it. And then when you got your gun, it was all done. There was a little card in the box there, a little card in the box, and you filled out the card and sent it in to Smith & Wesson, and they sent you a certificate for your registered Magnum. And that is the certificate for this registered Magnum.
Right.
And in the yoke cut is the registration number. It's REG and whatever the number is assigned to the gun. They made about 5,500 of the registered Magnums prior to World War II. Today they're one of the most highly sought after Smith & Wesson hand ejector revolvers. The top strap was all very finely checkered. It was, just an absolutely incredibly built gun. It certainly, set the way and opened up the Magnum era for Smith & Wesson.
So in the middle of the Depression, when everybody, when dollars were precious, here they're building a Cadillac firearm, and that's once again keeping them alive and moving forward.
You got to understand that the average hand ejector was selling for around $22, $25, and the retail on this registered Magnum was $60.
Wow.
$60 for 1935.
That's some serious money. I mean, that's it.
Smith & Wesson was very good. They offered discounts to you if you were a member of the NRA, if you were a law enforcement officer, or military, or a member of the USRA. So,
well, was the FBI the first to issue a 357 Magnum as a carry gun? I don't know.
the FBI bought a tremendous number of the registered Magnum. And it's basically, I think, because of the captain in the FBI who was in the training session, whose name was Bauman. And of course, you know that name because he designed the ramp front sight. The Bauman ramp front sight.
Right.
And Smith & Wesson put the fast draw, the quick draw, ramp, Bauman sight on a lot of guns. And he was responsible for a lot of FBI agents purchasing the registered Magnum. The records, the registration records are just absolutely full of FBI agents who bought and carried the registered Magnum.
Well, this was one serious gun of the day. I mean, having the 357 and a package like this, phenomenal. I mean, you'd have a great deal of confidence in what you're carrying, that's for sure.
It would stop, it'd go through an engine block. It would go through what was then considered bulletproof glass. It was the gun of the day.
That was cool. Very, very cool. Well, this brings us up through the Depression, and I'm wondering if there isn't really a different chapter when we move into World War II.
Lots of things changed. So World War II is another whole story.
Okay, very good. Well, I tell you what,